Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Free Thinkers, and we're back with another episode. My name is King Show, and I have here with me
Abdel Bello.
Abdel
B.
Belo.
Kin Show.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't hear you anymore, man. You are frozen.
I'm frozen. You sounded frozen.
Yeah, now you're back. Now you're back again. Okay.
Oh my. Well, awesome, awesome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Nigerian elections. It's a crazy time in Nigeria at the moment. The elections are coming up. Country's on the edge. There's a new Naira note. Naira is on scarcity. Naira is the currency currently, and there's a fuel scarcity at the moment. But mainly, we want to focus right now on, some of the presidential candidates and, who can take us to the moon. What do you think, Abdel? Who do you want to touch on first?
So, anyways, for the Nigerian election, there's only four candidates that I can think about right now, and that would be like
I
Atiku.
thought it was three, not as four.
I want to give you the fourth one as being nice to you.
All
You know,
right.
that's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. Atiku, Sowore, Obi, and Tinubu. Those are the only four viable. I mean, three viable candidates plus one for him for Kim. So if you don't know, so Kim is a strong supporter. At least he used to be a uh, a soldier for
I used to be a
Sowore,
what?
a soldier, like a
A
food soldier,
soldier.
a food soldier, like you know what I mean, right? Food soldier. You were going out, you were campaigning actively for
Yeah,
Sowore
yeah, 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 yeah.
and his
Well,
team.
I mean, they're playing other candidates. At least I think there's at least 13 candidates in the race of this
Yeah, we can't
election,
talk about the thing
and
candidate. I
I
don't
don't
know
want
how.
to be I don't want to be like mainstream media where they automatically tell you, oh, there's three top contenders, or there's some even say there's two top contenders. Some who don't even think Peter Obi is a top contender.
No,
So, but
well, okay, if anybody doesn't think Peter Obi is a top contender, they will be surprised. They'll be very surprised. There is, at least online, he seems to be the one getting the most.
online, a lot of things happen online. Online doesn't are not do not automatically mean votes. Does that automatically mean a registered voter? It doesn't automatically mean a registered voter with their PVC, and it doesn't automatically mean a registered voter with their PVC that is accredited on the day of the election to vote. So,
He definitely
so
seems, at least, seems to be the one with the most traction online. Like I was saying, I know
uh
it doesn't mean that that will necessarily translate into action on the ground, but he definitely seems to be the one that Nigerian outside of Nigeria are supporting the most, and he seems to be the one with the with a very clear plan to me
uh
anyway. Because I watched he I think he was in London and he did something. They did a I
at
can't
the Chatham
remember.
House.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and he took questions and he presented his plan, his economic plan, and his social plan for the for Nigerian. There's only a few things I wasn't sure about. I wasn't sure about when it comes to his economic plan. He wanted to stop some of the subsidies.
Uh-huh.
Now I wasn't sure how he what he was. I don't remember him going to details because I know in Nigeria a petrol is one of gas petrol. I think do we call it petrol or we call it gas?
Well, we say petrol in
Petrol,
the
yeah.
accent. We say
So
petrol,
there
but
is
gasoline. Go ahead.
there was some there were subsidies for those in Nigeria that
Yeah.
the current government was trying to remove, and that
Uh-huh.
led to is it the current government or the one before this? They were trying
The
to
one
remove
before
the
this, during Jonathan's term, they tried to vote the subsidy, and it was called Occupy Wall Street,
exactly. So it
Occupy
led to
Nigeria. Sorry.
Nigeria, and that led to a bunch of issues. So my point is like, if he's gonna go back to that, he better have a. He didn't specify if he was gonna remove those subsidies, and if he was going to, what is his plan for Nigeria who will be struggling when it comes to obtaining buying gas and stuff like that. So he didn't really go in details about that. So that is where I was like, okay, yes, you have some good ideas, but are you really looking deeper? Are you reviewing everything? Another thing he was
Yeah.
talking about, they asked him about IPOP. I
Well,
think
well, let's well. Well, let me touch on subsidy a little bit, so that we can probably hit all the candidates as we go along. I mean, so or do you want to just make this video about Pizza
No,
Brewery
no, no.
alone?
No, that's fine. Let me hear the other people's stance on subsidies.
Well, Tinubu's stance on subsidy, I'm not completely sure. I don't think he necessarily said he would remove it. Um, I mean, I've followed, some of his speeches and some commentary on him. I'm not completely sure that his stance is to remove it. I mean, this current administration did campaign that and said they were going to remove it 8 years ago. Which today we still have subsidy right now. Um, so I'm not completely sure. I think a lot of people just touched on it as talking points. He told me yes. I think he did go into some details about removing it. Sowore, I know, said he would remove it, but not right away because he knows it's going to be debilitating to the country. So his plan is to probably one of his plans, or as he mentioned, is that he will fix the refineries first, and then they could probably phase out subsidy. But I think his goal is to probably get power going or fix the refineries. But
Oh,
but you could go ahead with your second point that you're gonna make. I think on Peter Obi.
so the second one was on the asking about IPOB, um, and how they wanted him to condemn. This lady was asking if he was gonna condemn. I think next time we need to be like showing those questions and stuff, those
Uh-huh.
clips. But anyways,
Uh-huh.
this lady was asking about if he wanted to condemn IPOB
Uh-huh.
and whatnot, and he did say at that conference he didn't really condemn IPOB, but he did say that he has done it before multiple times. So I don't have a
Uh-huh.
problem with that. But the question was, what are you going to do to keep all those factions from fighting each other? And his answer was just like, oh, when the economy is back and everybody's eating, all those will go away. I think that's like a simplistic way to answer the question because
Uh-huh.
the fracture between the ethnic group is not necessarily just because people are not eating to the satisfaction. It's a little more than that. And for him to just like brush it over and say, "Oh, once the economy is gonna be better and
Abdel,
everything,"
how many times did you eat today?
actually, I haven't eaten today,
Ah.
but that's different.
But okay, jokes apart, um, for those who don't know, IPOP is the indigenous people of Biafra. So there's a particular group of people in Nigeria that believe in that they want their own to secede from Nigeria. They want their own separate country in Nigeria. So IPOP is a group. Um, and a majority of the people in IPOP come from the southeastern part of the country, which Peter B is from. So some people have tried to accuse him of not condemning them, but I don't necessarily think he needs to condemn them because sometimes you hear these stories about IPOP. My question would be, okay, what exactly do you want him to condemn? So sometimes, anytime there's any kind of insecurity issue, or maybe an INEX office is set on fire, or there's quote unquote unknown gunmen, they are quick to attribute it to IPOP without necessarily any clear investigation. It's just people just say, "Oh, it's IPOP. IPOP did it." Same thing about herdsmen. Sometimes,
Okay,
anytime
so
there's
I was gonna point that out. Is so yes, so it's not just IPOP. Same thing with all the other all the other
Yeah,
CDs.
but I think people try and get on him about iPop a lot because because he's from that part of the country. I think it's a little bit disingenuous to me. It's like sometimes they try and trap him, like, okay, what do you want him to condemn specifically? There hasn't been really. Sometimes they're not real investigations to find out whether iPop. Sometimes they blame iPop for things. It's the government sometimes, or sometimes
But
it's just
I
stated in the
mean,
media that iPop. Well, let me finish my point. That iPop did something, but IPOP comes out and denies it, and they say, "Oh, we have nothing to do with this." So when they say condemn, I mean, I think this government, I think put IPOP on the terrorist list for the country some years ago. So I think there's some kind of imbalance when it comes to how people, of course, when people from the southeast are treated, and especially IPOP specifically. Even Nnamdi Kanu is currently in jail. I believe there's a court order that said he should be released, but he's still being locked up at the moment. So that would be some of my thoughts on that.
So again, I wasn't saying he need to. I was reporting the question that was asked at the place, but I mean,
But
what
yeah,
what
but okay, wait, sorry, one more thing. But yeah, the response, I agree with you. Sometimes his answers do seem, hopefully, these are these people do not come for us. But sometimes his answers do feel a little bit simplistic because if they ask him, well, what are you going to do about, Boko Haram or terrorism? He would say, oh, I'm
so
going to,
yeah, it was
he might say, I'm going to talk to them. He might say
that
something
is
as
exactly
simple
so it was
like, oh, I'll talk to them. Or even if they say, oh, what are you going to do if you don't have anybody from your party in the National Assembly? Like, how are you going to get things done? He'd be like, oh, there will see a reason. I'll talk to them. They want what is good for the country as well. So
exactly
there's no
so
way I'll present something that is good for them and they'll pass it. It does seem very simplistic, to be honest. It sounds all good and dandy, but Nigeria is not necessarily the good and dandy kind of place, So, but
that's what I was trying to point out. Like
uh,
so, like actually, you hit some of my point. He will say, and they did ask him about Boko Haram as well when they were asking him about IPOP and all that, and all he would say was he was gonna talk to them, and then I think they follow up of okay, fine, you talk to them, they didn't listen. What else are you gonna do or something? And he said, well, if they don't listen or if they don't come in the fold, he will do something by force or whatever by army. He wasn't
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
specific, but he I think
Yeah, yeah.
also
But in all fairness as well to Peter Obi and to some of these candidates, is they can only tell you what they're going to do. They don't know what they're going to meet when they get there. I remember I ran
no,
for,
hold up,
even
hold up, hold up. Wait. But you cannot simplify the issue of Nigeria to just, well, if people are start eating every day, they will be fine. No, the economic, I mean, the ethnic division is at this point beyond just a financial issue. Yes, there is financial concern, but you have to acknowledge that the ethnic division is a little more than financial concern. If
well,
you look at
I think some of the angle he was coming from was more of that he would start providing jobs in these areas where people are, or start trying to improve the economic conditions of people. And once the economic conditions of people are improved, when people, I think some of the arguments
But
that
hold
he
up.
makes,
But let me. That's what I was going to get to.
let me land this point. Some of the argument that he makes is that once, for instance, IPOP or the indigenous people of Biafra, for instance, if they don't feel marginalized anymore, if they feel like they're part of the country and they're not being segregated or mistreated, then some of the agitations might go down. I think that's kind of what he's getting to.
And that's a valuable point. I ain't going to deny that. But that's one thing you keep missing. If you look at even, I was listening to one of the comedian, one of the famous Nigerian comedian recently. I wish I remember his name. I sent you the video in the group,
Ocon,
and I'm sorry.
I think it's Ocon.
Yes, and in the video he posted, because he has a talk show too, and in the video that was posted, he was mentioning the fact that um, among the three party, one party has a Muslim ticket, and that means that party is a anti-Christian or excluding Christian. One party has
That would
Southpaw.
be Tinubu and Shetima. The
Yeah,
Muslim ticket is Tinubu and Shetima,
correct.
APC. PDP is Atiku and forget the name of his vice president now.
But so in that one, he said
They're having issues within their party because the president Atiku is from the north, and then the national chairman is also from the
chairman
north.
is from the north as well. But here's my point. Here's what here. So the people in the party who are from the south are no hungry people. You get what I'm saying? The
I
people
don't.
who are well to do themselves.
Uh,
The issue is problem of power. It's not just
mhm,
economic. It's not just financial. It's not just economic. You have to make sure people have power or feel that they have power. And
mhm,
just eating to the satisfaction is not enough to do that. And that's the part he seemed to be missing too. But I don't. I mean, I'm
mhm.
pretty sure he understands that as well. But
Yeah,
every ethnic group in Nigeria need to feel empowered in Nigeria.
mhm.
And I think He might be missing that in his simplification of his answers. Just
Well,
because
I mean, like I said, to be fair, I've listened to. I'm not a. By no means, I'm not a. Well, I won't say I'm not a supporter of Peter Obi. I'll put that out there. But I'm not against him either. I'm not campaigning for him. But in all fairness, as well, I would say that I think if you listen to some more, if you listen to him more robustly, I've listened to several interviews from him. Even his party, I think they're very diverse. They're very inclusive. Even they had a national chairman step down, and he was from the southwest. Peter Obi is from the southeast. So the national chairman had to step down. No, the director of his campaign had to step down, and then they replaced him with somebody from the southwest again, just so there wasn't any issue. So I think, and there's a lot of people. The party is a little bit more diverse in terms of their leadership. Well, I
no,
won't say more diverse. Other parties are diverse as well, but I think in top leadership roles, there is a diversity there.
and I
I would
think
say that.
I think that's what he needs to be able to mention talk about like his government. He will be very diverse. I
Uh,
think that will be where a lot of people will feel empowered. A lot of
uh,
the nation, the ethnic group in the nation will feel empowered, and then that hopefully will lead to less fighting. Yes, financial freedom is important, but not just financial freedom. Ability to have a voice in the government. So
uh.
his government itself needs to be very diverse. Well, I mean, beside that though, I think he's to me, to my understanding so far, knowing some of the candidates, knowing some of the views, I think Obi seems to be the one who's more. He seems to be the one who can take the country to the moon, if possible. He seems to be the one who has a clear path, a clear plan. Atiku, I've listened to some of his plan as well. My only concern with Atiku is he has been in the government for a while, but I don't think he has actually had a he hasn't led any government any.
What do you mean, Atiku?
He was vice president, right?
He was vice president now.
Let's say vice
That's
president.
it. That's number two. That's the number two position in
You're
the
not making
country.
decisions now. Vice president, you just there. You say yes, yes to what the
He's
president
making
says.
decisions. No, I wouldn't belittle vice president. I
And
mean,
for
yes,
it, I mean,
yes,
vice president.
yes.
But I
No,
mean,
vice president. That's a key role. That's a
what are
key
you
role.
doing as vice president?
I think he was
What?
governor. I think he was governor of his
I
state
don't know. I
too.
don't remember. I don't think he was governor. I think Tinubu was a governor, and
No, I think Atiku was governor of uh well, maybe not. I can't.
I don't remember. I don't know. But anyway,
He might have
beside
been
that,
governor in Adamawa.
Atiku definitely does. He does have some. He does have some good ideas as well. He seemed to have a plan. But honestly, for some reason I seem to prefer Peter Obi a little better. I seem to
Hmm.
prefer Peter Obi a little better. Um, the other dude is Sowore. Sowore, my issue with Sowore is like he has his own party. I don't think he has enough traction to actually, if he wins, I don't think he'll be able to have enough people in the government to be able to make the changes he needs to make. So, eh, and he seems to be more I don't know. Maybe he's changed this season. Maybe he changed this season. But Tinubu is the guy on top.
Okay. So let me give my. I almost changed this video because we focus a lot on Peter Obi. I almost changed the name of this video to just to be highlight on Peter Obi. I think you're
No,
bringing the
more
other
like
guys.
Peter Obi to take the Nigeria to the moon. Yes, but I'm listening.
Number one, Nigeria is not going to any moon anytime soon. So Peter Obi,
Don't do
even
that.
Peter
Don't
Obi,
do that. Don't do
if
that.
Peter Obi, if
Peter
Peter Obi,
Obi, like
if
if you listen to
Peter Obi,
if you
if
listen to
Peter
him,
Obi, if Peter Obi does 8 years there, we don't have any business going to moon at this point. There's so many issues where we have to resolve before we start going to it.
no, 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 no. So they
Let
ask
us
him
cover,
one question. They ask him.
let us
Wait,
wait now. Let me actually you don't speak. Let us tar our roads before we start thinking about going to the moon. And let's get some running water in every local government in Nigeria first.
but that's his plan. Those are the things he said he's gonna do. Those are the things he wants to do.
Yeah. So you mentioned what did you went so fast through all these candidates real quick.
So I
You
said,
mentioned
what was
you
his name?
mentioned Sowore. You said
Sowore,
Sowore will not have.
so Sowore,
I think Sowore and Peter Obi are in the same boat. However.
No, 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 no. They're not in the same boat.
No, you just mentioned he won't have enough support in government to
He
do the
might
things he
not.
wants to do.
Well, you do. You have a point. Peter B as well. Yes,
Peter B, Labour Party does not have senators, doesn't have House of Reps,
you are
they
correct.
don't have governors. So that's part of my thing, which is like, okay, I'm more of like, okay, should I go to Peter B or should I stay sure I go to Peter B? Right now, I'm not really supporting anybody at the moment. Just so everybody knows it. Yeah. But I'll tell you,
You're
I'm
correct.
against some people, but I'm not for people either.
No, my honestly though, Sowore, the way he portrays things is not necessarily conducive to moving things forward. He's always like he's always seems to be.
Always.
I
If
mean, I
there was
shouldn't say
like
always. I should
always,
always. I shouldn't say always. But for my experience, I mean, for my time watching him, he doesn't often come with a solution. He just want to come and just bulldoze everything and restart from ground up.
what do you mean?
Like so,
Give a clear example, please.
I'm trying to think of one. Oh gosh.
I don't think that's a fair analysis of Sure. Yes,
Mm.
Sure is a little bit more. He's more
Which one did
passionate.
you?
I think he's more passionate about the state of Nigeria, and sometimes that shows in his speech. Um, but I mean, I think overall he has quality plans for Nigeria. If you check his manifesto and the things he says he has, if you do
Is it the
ask
same
him,
one from
and the
last? Is
thing
it
is,
the same one
the
from
thing,
4 years ago? Is it from the same one from 4 or 5 years ago?
I mean, it's more or less the same. I don't think it's
Hey,
changed
so
that much.
we discussed it last time. Now we discussed it like 4 years
No,
ago.
no, no. But okay, but let's okay. When it came to point, when they asked him about, I think number one, to put this out there on slightly, right? Sure, the questions Sure usually get thrown, or what people usually ask Sure are usually they're not questions where they're looking for an answer. Most of the times, the questions he's asked are, more of sensational questions, or they're trying to bait him. No, no,
I
let
disagree.
me
I
let me
totally disagree with that.
let
I'm
me
seeing
finish
what
now.
what
Sebi, can
what
you
you're
let
gonna
me
do for the
finish?
economy, and he
We
will
can't
say,
talk over each other. Let me finish now. We can't talk over. Wait, they asked about the economy, and he said what?
no, finish.
No, I said let me just
No,
put it out there.
finish.
Okay, let me finish now. So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes when they ask some questions, they usually questions to like, oh, you got shot here, or oh, you're in this protest. Why were you in this protest and stuff like that? Or, that's usually some of the questions that he might get thrown, or like, oh, why were you in jail, or what do you mean by revolution? And then he's responding to those questions. But when they actually ask him specific questions like, okay, what are you going to do about electricity in Nigeria? And he breaks it down and you say, oh, we're going to diversify power. First, he's going to say he's going to get rid of the national grid, make it local. If in the north, we'll do solar power because there's um, enough sunlight over there. He said we could do hydro in some places. We could let people generate power locally in their own state or in their own region. And if you don't have solar panels that you could even store energy and sell it to the local grid. So these are things that he clearly states he lays out in his plans when you're asking. When they're asking about subsidy, I mentioned subsidy. You say he's not in fact he would tell you he's not getting rid of it right away. That's the one he would say, okay, first we need to he says subsidy is a scam. He would say subsidy, we need to figure out who exactly is benefiting or who's actually getting paid by the subsidy because he said subsidy is not subsidizing Nigeria. And this is what he says, right? This subsidy is not subsidizing Nigeria, but it's subsidizing some rich people are the ones benefiting off of subsidy. So, so he says number one, plugging those loopholes, and these are some of the same things Peter Obi says, by the way, when it
Exactly.
comes to
Same
subsidy.
word for word. Everything you just said right now is word for word what Peter B says as well.
Exactly. So that's why I said.
But
That's why I said sometimes they're more or less the
but there's
same.
a difference in the delivery. That's what I keep telling
Well,
you. The
and
difference in the delivery.
I didn't say this. I said I agree with you that there's a difference in the delivery. Yeah, Peter B is more cool, calm, collected. But note as well, Peter B until 6 months ago he was still in the PDP under Atiku. So now he's placing himself as if he's different and the Messiah. It's like he's wait.
Don't do
What do you
that.
mean? No,
Don't do
am I
that. Don't do
saying
that.
that? When we don't
Don't
do
do that.
that,
Don't do
don't
that.
do
Don't do that.
what? What am I
No,
doing?
no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
No,
Don't
don't do
do
that.
what?
No,
No,
that's
what
not
am I doing? Tell me what I
that's
should
not a
not
fair
do.
assessment though. Yes, he left PDP to go. he thinks he's the best person for the job. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
But he's been no, but he's been in PDP for the past
No, but he
over
thinks at
eight
this
years.
moment, he thinks at this moment he's the best person for the job. He definitely has good
I
ideas.
didn't tell wait, I didn't say he's not the best person on the job. What I told you is that he's been in the PDP until 4 or 5 months ago,
So
right? So
that don't change nothing. Like, like it doesn't affect. Like,
it doesn't
I
change
don't see the
anything.
point.
No, because when you're not campaigning against PDP, right? And you some of the things is like, oh, PDP, you're better than PDP, you're better than APC. But what you've been in PDP for the better part of the past 10 years. So what suddenly changed within the past few months when you had your personal ambition to run for the presidency
It's not.
and you
It's not like it's not. It's not like he has a personal ambition to run for the presidency. It's more like he sees that he has the answers that Nigeria needs
so
right now.
he's presenting himself as the Messiah. That's exactly what I said before. He's presenting himself as the Messiah now to come and save Nigeria. And you said I should not do that.
He
Yeah,
knows.
no, he
No,
knows personal ambition. Okay, call it what you want. He wants to run for president, or he thinks he's the Messiah, or he thinks he's the best person for the job. Same thing. But he's been in a party for the past 10 years or so or greater. What was he doing there? He didn't think they were the best people for the job, or he
no.
just
He noticed. He noticed that his job as a governor. He saw the things he's done as a job when he was a governor.
he was a governor. He was a governor over 8 years ago. He was a governor in like I think 99 to 2007. This is a long time ago, Abdel. And when he was governor, then he was under a different party as well. So he joined PDP after that.
Okay, okay, okay. I miss the timing of his governorship.
Anyway, but I'm not gonna hold that super against. I'm not. I'm just stating obvious. I'm just stating the
Yeah, but you
fact that
cannot. I don't think you can think that you can hold that against him, though.
I no. I'm just letting you know we're discussing who can take us to the moon and what
I don't know. But yes,
what makes different people.
his ideas are the same as Sowore, but Sowore is just different.
I think some me with my own view on some of these candidates. Like we just mentioned, I think some of the plans that Peter B has and Shuara has are more or less the same. Even
They are the same.
most of the candidates, if you really look at the manifesto, they are more or less the same. Now, what Nigeria comes down to is political will. Who has the political will to get the
To
job
make it
done, right?
happen.
And Nigeria is not the United States of America. It's not Switzerland. Nigeria comes with one. Africa comes with its own separate set of um,
Wahala.
uniqueness, wahala. I think it takes. I'm not saying necessarily you need like a dictator, right? And sure, I
Oh,
also
see,
should.
that's the part. That's the part. Hold up, hold
Wait,
up, hold up, hold up.
wait.
You
Now
just say
let me
right now.
finish. Let me
No,
land
wait,
my
wait, wait.
statement.
Let me say something, please. Please, let me say
Let me
something.
land
Hold
my
up.
statement.
No, that part you just said dictator. That is what is worrying me about Sowore. Sowore. That is the part. Like he
How is
does
he?
not seem to see. So if
Mm-hmm.
you look at the difference between Sowore and Peter B, Peter B is
Uh,
more willing to talk. He's more willing to
who
listen.
told you Showore doesn't is not willing to talk?
No,
Do
no, he will tell you himself. He will tell you himself. Like if you
he tell
don't,
you that he's not willing to talk? This is not true. He
no,
tell you
no,
he's not
no,
willing
no,
to
no, no,
talk.
no, 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 no. If you don't listen to him, if
Okay.
you don't
So
follow his,
wait. So when Peter Obi said he will talk to them, you just said that's too
no,
simplistic. You
no,
just
no,
said
no,
it's too
no, no. Hold up,
simplistic.
hold up. No, again, you're forgetting. You mix it. Yes, it is simplistic. But when you look at, hold on.
uh,
When you look at Peter Obi and you look at Shure, like
uh,
personality wise, be honest with yourself. Who will be more likely to get you to do something compared to the other?
what do you more likely to get you to do something like what? That's too it's too broad. What are you more likely?
Like
Anyone can get
who
me to
will
do
you be
anyone can
willing to like if I'm honest, one thing. Shure is more comes in as like if he comes in like feisty all the time.
no, that's
Like
not. It doesn't come in five all the time.
I've been on his I want to show that club. I was on Clubhouse, listened to him. I've listened to some of his. He was a lot of his
No,
YouTube down.
we can have our biases against these things. Yeah,
That, no, that's not bias, bro.
we
How
can
many
have
times
a
have
bias.
they?
No,
How
because
many?
Abdel, we know be today we start this conversation on sure. We started this thing years ago, almost
They,
5 years ago now, if not more. So
It
no
didn't
no
change.
no no
That point
no
didn't change.
no be
I
today.
don't know.
No be today. No be today. We'll have a
But
disagreement
anyways,
about
move
Sowore.
on.
No be today. We have disagreement about Sowore. But this video has gotten quite long, so it's an
Yes, yes,
interesting
yes, yes.
discussion. So we'll have to end it here. Uh
But to answer the question, I think Peter
huh.
Obi is going to be the one to take Nigeria to the moon. Some of the challenges might be the fact that he might not have enough people from his
Mm,
party in the assembly, but I think he
mm.
can definitely. He seems more like a consensus builder than some of the other candidates that I'm not gonna name.
I think I think I think when on the basic level when it comes to the manifesto and people's plans, most of these candidates are more or less the same. Preferably, I think Nigeria would do well with a Sowore or a P or a younger candidate than the top two. So not one of these big parties.
How old is
Uh,
Atiku?
I think it's 70 something, in the
Atiku as
70s.
well. I thought Tinubu was the only one who was that
Yeah,
old.
you get all the 70s, but not to let's just talk about age. But my thing is more of the political. But I think mainly we have a political will issue, right? And it's like who's gonna be able to get the job done at the end of the
Done.
day. But I think if anyone's going for Peter B, I think if you're going for Peter B, I think sure they had the same kind of challenges. Can I just say my statements in peace? I think sure has the same kind of challenges that Peter B will have. Yes, Peter B does have the broad support right now. If he wins, I think it'd be great to have a change from the status quo. I'm just more of just not going with the status quo. The status quo to me is just APC, PD, those main two candidate parties, right? I'm always looking to say, okay, who can do something differently? I think that's what Nigerians are looking for when we elected Buhari, like looking for someone who could do something different, which ended up being very disappointing, to say the least. But depending on who you ask, it's not going to be
Depending
that
on who you ask,
disappointing.
I
But
mean, I don't know
let's ask those our fellow Nigerians now that
who live there.
can't even get their naira now from the bank. I cannot even and line up of if you ask most of them now, I mean, but depending on who you ask, people might maybe the suffering is not enough. So I think we just need to go somewhere where it's not the status quo, business as usual. But even with that comes with the challenges, and that's why I think Peter will be sure will have the same kind of challenges. I think the next video we should do is who do we think is actually going to win the election, and that should be the next video that we should.
Oh, that's the thing. Who will win? Honestly,
No,
in any
next video, next video. Don't even say
wait,
any
wait,
comment on
wait
it.
now.
This is too long. We have to end this video in
Let's
33
give a
minutes.
hint. Okay, okay, okay. No wahala. No
All right.
wahala.
Well, thank you all for joining us on Free Thinkers tonight, and please hit the subscribe and like button. And if you have any comments, please drop a comment. We really appreciate your feedback. All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have a good night.
Keep thinking freely.